NBC woman asks a panel of Epstein victims the political question she just has to ask.
At this moment, with the attention on President Trump, with these questions around a pardon, did anybody see or hear of the president himself doing anything inappropriate as it related to Jeffrey Epstein?
No.
I do have to ask.
This clip of Nancy Mace walking through a hallway looking distraught went viral yesterday, and so many were assuming it's because she found out the truth of the Epstein victims, that Trump was a perpetrator potentially. Now today, she says President Trump is the one who banned Jeffrey Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. President Trump is the one who cooperated with the feds to get this guy. President Trump is the one who is committed to protecting women and kids. So you see where she stands, and it's not how people were assuming. Much of the Republican base is puzzled by Trump's insistence that anything regarding Epstein is a hoax.
Nobody's ever satisfied. And from what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given. But it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation.
And so some of Trump's detractors are saying that he is trying to take attention away from a very serious issue and instead bringing attention onto himself and his successes in this administration. I think this case is a great example of the importance of critical thinking in this current age. Certain touchstone issues will be used to emotionally trigger the population to take actions or to vote a certain way. With Thomas Massey's efforts to have all information released concerning Epstein and the news conference with Epstein victims today, I actually do see the public sentiment needle starting to move in a certain direction as the result of the events of today. So I'll go over social media that kind of paints a picture. Eric Doherty, Epstein survivor just gave an answer to NBC News, and Democrats are fuming because the narrative is done. And this was the first clip I showed you. The news person wanted to get that answer implicating Trump, or maybe this person did not want that, but just wants to help paint an accurate picture of the situation. When you're a liberal news producer, you already know to only ask the questions you know the answer to. MJ Truth Ultra. Epstein survivor lost all credibility. She says she was terrified to speak out because Epstein bragged about being friends with powerful people like Donald Trump. Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump. It was his biggest brag, actually. The
truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump. It was his biggest brag, actually.
So by clarifying that it's the biggest brag and in the voice tone that she did it, it created an appearance of bias. Logically, it would make sense that if this very high publicity conference were to be planned, that it would be decided not to immediately touch on political hot points, like whether the president of the United States is involved with Epstein. It would just address concerns the victims have generally for the truth of Epstein's crimes to get out into the public domain. And at least if President Trump were to be mentioned during this conference, you'd expect other big names to be named at the same time. So that way it doesn't look so like a political hit job of sorts. And to this video, we have a comment. Exactly, it's all BS. The abuse didn't just happen when DJT became president in 2016, and oddly, Epstein was arrested twice. The first time was in 2008. President Trump helped with his arrest, and then in 2019, when Trump was president, Epstein was arrested again. It seems to me that POTUS is solely responsible for the demise of the creep. This account called 0 Hour, which from some of the posts made caused me to assume that it might be a government agent of sorts, said this, which caused me to question my previous supposition. Millions were watching. They could have said names. That ended my support over it. So he's saying he's basically convinced that it's over because the secrecy is still going to persist with the current Epstein victims. Mays says, I'm not going to make a side-by-side video because I don't feel like attacking a victim, but one of the Epstein accusers has two completely different stories about what happened. Completely contradictory stories. Here's what Chuck takes away.
Epstein client list press conference that Thomas Massey did doesn't make any sense. If you're the victim, why wouldn't you just release the names? If we're dealing with rich and powerful people, why would you paint a target on your back? Why would you do that? You tell everybody that you're now going to compile a list. Now rich and powerful people can look for ways to hurt you. If you just released the names, they would have gone into defense mode. They wouldn't care about you anymore. It'd be about damage control. This thing just felt more like a shakedown to me. Like, we're going to compile a list. So your lawyers better get in touch with our lawyers. You know who you are.
Here's the quoting. You guys know I've been pushing for justice in Epstein case for a very long time, but I can't help to ask, when you trot out his victims and then they tell us in a press conference that they know the names, why didn't they just say them? I feel like this is an op. Viva Fry. I watched pretty much the entire Epstein alleged victim press conference. They want transparency, but won't disclose the names of people who allegedly participated in their own abuse. They want to protect future victims, but won't name the names they know of because they want our DAJ to do that first. They want transparency, yet are making their own list of alleged abusers that they will keep confidential for the victims. Oh boy. They demand transparency, yet shut down and kick out a journalist for asking a question they don't like. And I'll show you an example of this.
All right, next question.
Next question.
Thank you.
Who's next?
Yeah, no, we're not answering your question. Anybody else?
We're not answering it. I sincerely and strongly believe there is a there in the Epstein files. One witness, who was among the most credible, talked about the authorities withholding files of her own abuse from her in the Sweetheart 2006 plea deal. But with the help or on the advice of these attorneys, this group may have successfully transformed the Epstein files into a Me Too 2.0. The press conference was a debacle of teases, not a deluge of transparency from alleged victims. 0 Hour again. One Epstein victim sold her sister to him. 2 Epstein victims sold her friends to him. The sellers went to the press conference. The actual victims did not. Tells you everything you need to know. A commenter asked, what are you using as a reference? If you're going to defame someone, shouldn't you cover your ass with at least a little proof? I don't know what proof this person has. I still hesitate with this account. Viva Frey comments, unfortunately, Rep. Thomas Massey's today's press conference given by the alleged Epstein victims and counsel did not make your proposed discharge petition look bipartisan. It made it look like it's been co-opted by purely partisan anti-Trump actors. All this debacle could have and should have been avoided in the first place, but today's press conference makes it look like your initiative has been hijacked by partisan politics, as often occurs. Here's a strong partisan actor respecting Thomas Massey.
We don't agree on a lot, but where we can find agreement, we do. And the reason that I respect him is because he always shows you who he is. He is what I would consider to be a traditional conservative. He believes in transparency. He doesn't believe in whatever Trump tells him to believe. He believes in things like fiscal conservatism. I will have to tell you that
Ms. Jasmine Crockett. MJ Truth draws this all into perspective. So let me get this straight. Massey has all Democrats on his side to sign a petition to release Epstein files. Massey has Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Jasmine Crockett in his corner. Crockett says he's now greatly respected. They hold a press event today. Virtually all the signs were depicting Trump as a PDF, and here's one such sign. You have the P for the PDF and the word POTUS going down the sign, and a picture of POTUS. All of Epstein's survivors, even though they themselves say Trump never did anything wrong, constantly frame their words to make Trump look bad. If you can't see through this, I don't know what to tell you. And very interestingly, as reported by Raw's Alerts, Representative Nancy Mace may know something because she's calling on Prince Andrew to be arrested over the Epstein allegations. I'm not sure if she was told something new with regards to what he's already known to have done. Marjorie Taylor Greene indicates that she knows the names and she's not afraid to say the names. To my knowledge, she's not said the names yet, and she's getting absolutely flamed and torched in her comments. Nothing says America first like standing in front of Democrats with signs that read Trump equals traitor and pictures of President Epstein. The clown show continues. Primary season's coming. When y'all lose your seats, you have yourselves to blame. And so here she and Massey stand with the potential agitprop signs behind them. Just an optical situation made entirely partisan, veering away from the hoped for intent of bringing truth to the public sphere regarding Epstein. I do get sort of confused with regards to how much of what we see is 4D, 5D chess versus how much is people operating on the principle of game theory. I certainly can get more abstract with this topic and start to look into whether the events of the past with the Epstein's victims have been changed retroactively, now isolating all the crimes just on Epstein and Ghislaine and maybe a few others, or even if the politically biased failure of Thomas Massey's conference could have been manipulated to create an outcome that ultimately gives an advantage to Donald Trump, either via mundane means of planning or what we would consider supernatural means of certain technologies affecting perception and action. Given how much of a hot topic this is, I suspect the next couple of days, events will occur that will provide much further clarity to the nature of what we're seeing, if it's a charade or something far greater. I will continue to speak truth to power. If you're interested, do follow me and turn on your notifications. Thanks. Peace.